Welcome everyone to my podcast. My name is Nichelle Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Nichelle Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. Let's get started. Thank you for returning back for another of one of my episodes where I have returned back in reading my short stories. That is featuring MOLIAE, my production. MOLIAE is from my book, Mitsrayim, a memoir. And in this, it deals with ancient Egypt that used to be called Mitsrayim, and I'm focusing on the characters. I just finished up 9 weeks of the most important characters that I introduced or reintroduced the last 9 weeks ago for the first season of my podcast. I do encourage you to visit either the official website, MOLIAE.com, or the YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/MOLIAE. And also our Facebook page too. If you haven't joined and followed us on Facebook, please do so. And that's facebook.com/MOLIAE, MOLIAE, MOLIAE. And just to get a more feel for the characters so you can connect with them, the plan is still for us to return back to stage in the prestige return of MOLIAE stage play. That's why I'm calling it, because it will be prestige, because most of the characters have never been introduced outside of the book, and there are a lot. So I do invite you to do that. Also, to recap that this is considered premium content. So I do a lot of clips. If you're new to my podcast and you're listening in, or you have been listening for a while, go ahead and make the next investment into this production in the sense that you will become a patron. And to become a patron, I will have the link to my Patreon page, which is www.patreon.com. You can also get rewards for each level that you pledge, which you can cancel anytime that you feel that you will want to cancel. You can cancel anytime. So with that note, let's go ahead and move forward. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week. So let's begin. And just before that, I want to just kind of give a recap from last week, where last week we focused on the episode where Queen Hagar met her father and mother that arrived in Mitsrayim, Tayyib and Queen Mother Hannah. And they spent some time together. King Mahlon was not in that particular episode. He was, of course, still in his secluded area. But Queen Hagar spent time with her mother as well as her father. And her father, Tayyib, spent some time with Princess Hannah. And then Queen Hagar and Queen Mother Hannah was able to have a good discussion, because it seems that she's been going through a lot with all of this drama, and with King Mahlon being very hurt in a recent war or battle. So we were able to connect and hear from both of them in a sense to understand their tight bond and the influence of her mother. So with that said and done, let's go ahead and move on. And if you wanted to get the full story of that episode, again, you have to become a patron of this podcast, and you can find that information in the bottom of this description. So let's get to the clip for this week. Let's begin. For this week of my podcast show, Nichelle Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. This would be episode 23, entitled When a General is Born. Opening scene. Calm with the interest of alertness to the special calling for his presence, in the far end of the palace, Comrade Jetur is surrounded by 50 of the king's rank guards. Most he had never seen before. He had never seen before or been on the battlefield. These guards he knew, and some he did not. But he knew something was about to happen, and he hoped for good. As he waited standing in the middle of the royal king's rank guard platoon, he pondered to if any of what's about to happen was about his visit to see Sanel on his accord. He was about to think more when the two large floor-length golden doors opened to reveal more guards and a high council member of Mitsrayim governing state. He proceeded into the royal room. He soon saw Queen Hagar in the middle of the room, dressed in a special royal attire, shimmering with long white fabric adorned with emeralds and sapphires, aligned with gold framed throughout. She had her royal golden crown, wearing it lovely in the Aspu rays, beaming through the large plateau of the columns. 20 guards were behind Queen Hagar and Princess Hannah. Queen Hagar suddenly smiled at Comrade Jetur. Comrade Jetur nods and returned the smile, not sure what to say of this interaction. Beaming as brighter as Apsu, Queen Hagar nods in satisfaction, and Comrade Jetur then knew Queen Hagar very happy as he stood in position to whatever would come forward this day. We see you made it back to the Valley of the Nile. There is a new move in your position within our military force, Comrade Jetur. For I, as one of those that chose you, are of the selected few, loyal to Mitsrayim and the royal family. I hear you speak and seen you do good things, Comrade Jetur. Your father would be proud. In this day, someone will speak to why you are here amongst them that know what you do not, but will in a moment. You shall stand this day. Comrade Jetur nods. Queen Hagar steps to the side as Princess Hannah follows, and the 20 guards parts into an equal set of 10 that immediately expose the throne of the King of Mitsrayim, King Mahlon. Shocked and bewildered, Comrade Jetur immediately kneeled before the king, and moments later King Mahlon raised his hand as he slowly stood. There still some linen fabric wrapped on his wrist as his wounds were continually to heal, but he shook any discouragement of not to stand up at the moment.
Arse, the gods of Anumu has spoken of your wellness. I am most grateful.
And you should be, for you have shown your loyalty to Mitsrayim and to me during a time of much unrest. Without your mighty move at the right moment, this day might not as be, and we, the royal family, give you our loyalty.
Beaming as brighter as Aspu, Mitsrayim will always be within and a part of me. I serve the crown.
I have known you since you were a young son to your great father that has always been a good friend to me. Now you are a man with great skill of military skill and loyalty to the Crown of Mitsrayim. So with this sword from those above. End scene. This concludes this week clip snippet for this episode. If you would like to listen to the full story, please visit my Patron page. The information will be in the below description. Thank you again. Of this podcast, Nichelle Anderson, Short Stories and Beyond. I will release only the clippet of the short story, and once you become a patron, you will have access to the full short story, what's going on next. And I do plan to release more director clip notes as well as a bonus of releasing a story. Thank you again for joining my podcast this week. So long.